Manga-Waido.
My name is Koichi Shibata, 48 years old. I graduated from high school and have been working in the distribution warehouse of Tamashiro Market for more than 20 years, managing and delivering products. I have been to various branch offices within the company, but not long ago, I was able to come back to this place of memories, in the headquarter warehouse of this Tamashiro Market. I never thought I'd be able to work with you again, Koichi. I remember those days. He's an old colleague of mine, Kusunoki. He's a friend of mine with whom I've shared hardships when I was still young. But it's not only because of my former colleagues that I have feelings for this place. Everyone cares about Sarah, too. Is she doing well? Yes. I raised my daughter, Sarah, by myself. A daughter who is not related to me by blood, here in this warehouse. That was when I was in my 20s, and this Tamashiro Market was still a small company. My boss, who was the leader of the company at the time, brought a woman with a young child to the warehouse. My sister's in trouble. Can you guys help her? This is how I met Kumi, who would become my wife, and my daughter, Sarah. Kumi's ex-husband was a lousy man and ran from home as soon as he found out she was pregnant. So she decided to raise her daughter, Sarah, on her own and started working from morning till night. Kumi, however, was born with a fragile body and frequently fell ill. We learned of the situation and decided to cooperate with them as best we could. Someone was always working here in this warehouse, so it could become a 24/7 daycare center, so to speak. At a time when compliance was not so strict, the president of Tamashiro Market gave his permission, and the entire warehouse staff began to take care of Sarah. Among them, I spent a lot of time with Sarah, and she became especially attached to me. Gradually, I became closer with her mother, Kumi, and at the proposal of my bosses, we got married. And Sarah, who was still very young, thought I was her real father, and everyone kept the truth from her. However, the marriage where the three of us could spend time together was too short. Kumi, perhaps due to the strain she had put on herself, suddenly died a few years later due to a chronic illness. There was no way I could tell the grieving Sarah that I wasn't her real father. After that, it was everyone at the warehouse who supported us. At a certain point, Sarah must have thought of this place as her second home.
I want to play with the uncles there tomorrow too!
I still remember her saying that often. Later, as Sarah grew up, my work got busier, and I temporarily left the warehouse. Then when Sarah entered puberty, she stopped talking about the warehouse. I mean, she doesn't even talk to me anymore. When I rushed home after a night shift, Sarah was always getting ready for work. Sorry I'm late. I'll hurry up and make breakfast now.
It's fine.
But you haven't eaten anything.
I told you before, I'm not a child anymore. I can take care of myself.
Oh yeah, Sarah? Everyone at the warehouse wanted you to come show your face again.
Huh?
She must have forgotten by now. Sarah graduated from high school and started working this year. She was an honor student with excellent grades, but she doesn't talk much, and I honestly don't know what she's thinking. She used to be so sweet, but now she just thinks I'm annoying. Then one day, Sarah suddenly said she had someone she wanted to get engaged to, and she would bring him home. Oh, what kind of person is he?
He's a senior from my high school. His name is Tamashiro Masaki.
What? The other man was Masaki, the son of the president of our company. I heard the president made him go to a normal public high school so he wouldn't spoil his son. I heard he went to the same high school as my daughter, but I didn't think they'd get engaged, let alone be in a relationship. She's only 16, and she wants to leave home already?
I've already decided. Keep the state open then.
And Tamashiro Market is now a big company. Masaki was said to be the next president of the company. But how would he feel if he knew his father-in-law worked in his company's warehouse? I wasn't sure if I should talk to my colleagues at the warehouse, but I didn't want to cause a scene. Besides, many of the people who used to take care of Sarah were on the day shift. Just a few days after Masaki came to greet me, there would be a general meeting at the warehouse. So I decided to talk about it then. Then, on the day of the greeting, Masaki bowed his head deeply and seemed like a better young man than I had imagined. I was anxious, but I was relieved when I saw him. The drinks were flowing, and the topic of conversation turned to their high school days. Sarah was the Madonna of the school. All the boys were attracted to her.
Oh, stop it, Masaki. There's no more alcohol. I'll go get some.
Oh, I'll go.
It's okay. Don't you want to talk to him as men?
Alright, well, be careful.
I know.
And when Sarah left...
Can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah?
Is it true that Sarah was raised in that warehouse when she was little?
Well, you're right. It's not an exaggeration to say that she was raised there. It was tough. But now, it's a good memory.
Are you serious? How awful.
What?
I mean, the father is a high school graduate working part-time in a warehouse, and he leaves his daughter at the warehouse and abandons her?
What a lousy parent. Masaki? I'm not a part-timer, and I raised her properly too.
Oh, is that an excuse? Like it's okay because you're not actually her father?
What? Perhaps President Tamashiro thought that I had already told Sarah she wasn't my biological child, so he probably told Masaki. But I didn't tell the truth to the still 18-year-old Sarah.
Don't be hasty. I haven't told her yet. But in exchange...
What?
Can you not come to the wedding? I want you and everyone at the warehouse to cut ties with Sarah.
Is that what Sarah wants?
Yeah, she told me. She doesn't want anything to do with those people anymore.
No way.
Well, she wants to marry me, who's the next president, and cut ties with you guys. Don't get in the way of your daughter, who's trying to get off the bottom of the barrel.
Ugh. In the end, I couldn't say anything back, and Sarah came back. Then Masaki calmly returned to being a good-natured young man. In front of his father, the president, and Sarah, he must be hiding the backstage face he had earlier. After that, Masaki left as if nothing had happened.
Did he say anything?
What? No, nothing.
Huh.
I was thinking about what he said earlier, and kind of brushed it off. A few days later, at a general meeting in the warehouse, I reported my daughter's engagement to the people who used to take care of Sarah. They were all as happy as if they were their own. However, when I told them that it was Masaki who was the next president of the company, their faces began to cloud over. Actually, I didn't know this since I worked night shifts, but Masaki would often come to the warehouse during the day and skip work. He also swore at the warehouse employees and used them as his errand boys. He had a bad reputation, though no one could say anything strongly about it because he was the president's son. I knew it. What? Koichi? You knew? No, it's just that when he came to the house for a greeting, I told him everything Masaki told me. No way. I can't believe she would say that! That's what I thought at first too. But maybe I just didn't know what Sarah was thinking. Her attitude hasn't been so good lately either. Everyone who thought they would be able to see Sarah again with a smile were also terribly disappointed. But in the end, they came to an agreement to respect Sarah's happiness. That night, I stopped Sarah. It would be hard for her to say it herself, so I decided to do it myself. Sarah, I know it's probably a while away, but I'm not going to the wedding, and neither is anyone else at the warehouse.
What?
Once you're married, you're free to do whatever you want. I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused you, but it was too painful to say out loud, so I left the place as if running away. It can't be helped. I'm only a foster father after all. The marriage talks seemed to be going well after that, and Sarah was going to greet Masaki's parents the next week. But oddly enough, the place seemed to be inside Tamashiro Market's office. I wonder if Masaki wants to show them how he works.
Dad, you come too.
What? No, but...
Just come, and there's someone else I want you to call.
Sarah made a strange request to me right then and there. Okay. As usual, I didn't know what she was thinking, but I had no choice but to agree to her serious look. And then came the day of the promised greeting. I left the warehouse in my work clothes as Sarah had told me, and was in the conference room of the adjacent Tamashiro Market's headquarters. As I waited, not knowing why, it was Masaki who showed up. Because Sarah called me. And us too, of course.
Huh? What's going on? I came here because Sarah said everyone was already waiting for me. Anyway, you guys just leave.
No, but...
Don't ruin the big day. I don't know why we were invited too, but you're pretty talkative, aren't you? Do you even know who I am?
I could fire you in a heartbeat! I know that, Mr. President-elect, but let me ask you something. Does Sarah really want to marry you? Of course she does! She's the one who came to me! I can't believe that. That's right! There's no way she would say she wants to cut ties! Guys, you guys just want to believe that! Sarah said it! She doesn't want anything to do with the bottom of the barrel!
I never said that.
Sarah?
Misaki, I knew you were saying unnecessary things to my father.
No, that's not it. What I said before was...
I thought it was strange the way my father looked after you came for the greeting, or the way he suddenly said he wouldn't come to the wedding. I tried it, and I was right. So this is your true nature.
What? You set me up? But wait a minute, Sarah! I was just speaking for you, wasn't I? Of course you don't want these people here!
Not at all. The reason I decided to marry you is for my father and everyone else's sake, too.
What?
It's not true that I came to you. You want me to call a friend of mine to testify?
That's... According to what Sarah made him confess afterwards, it was all a lie, so Masaki could get rid of all of us who were close to Sarah. The reason why they got together in the first place was because Masaki fell in love with Sarah at first sight and wooed her several times. He was acting like a gentleman in front of Sarah, who was smitten with his enthusiasm, agreed to the relationship, and, well, it came to this point. And the talks of getting engaged weren't even about wanting to leave the house.
I'm sorry, Dad. I wanted to get married and start a family. I wanted to expand the family for you.
Sarah!
And I thought that if I married the next president of Tamashiro Market, I could give back to everyone at the warehouse.
Give back to us?
I've never forgotten a single day I spent in that warehouse, you know? I never forgot about my uncles who hung out with me, my dad who worked so hard, and even my mom.
Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry, I was wrong. When you marry me, I'll treat the people at the warehouse well and...
No, I'm not marrying you anymore.
What?
How can I marry someone who makes fun of my father and everyone else? And you lied to me in the first place.
Huh? Your father's the one who's lying to you too! Hey, wait! I'll tell you! Hey Sarah, he's not your real father! He's been lying to you all this time!
Oh, so it was true after all.
What?
I don't even look like him. I can tell being alive for 18 years.
You've been lied to your whole life!
I mean, it's rather amazing that they brought me up to this point even though we're not blood related. I have nothing but gratitude.
That's a good point, Sarah. What? That voice? I wish my stupid son could learn from you. Father? Even Mom? Apparently, Sarah had suggested Masaki's parents that she would test him and were listening to everything outside the room. Naturally, when the president found out what was going on behind the scenes, he was furious. Masaki, you know what's going to happen. Not only were the engagement and the next president's position cancelled, but he was also told on the spot that he would be kicked out of the Tamashiro market too. All the hard work I put in. What hard work, you fool? I'm sorry! And when the situation calms down, Sarah came to me and had tears in her eyes.
I'm sorry I haven't been honest with you. I couldn't say it well, but I'm really grateful. Thank you for bringing me up until now, Dad.
Sarah!
Thank you to everyone at the warehouse, too. I'll be back.
Hey! We'll always be waiting! After that, Masaki was taken by the president to the warehouse to apologize again, and then disappeared from the company. He was told he'd be disinherited if he caused another problem, and is now living a quiet life as a part-timer. As for me, I'm still rushing home after working the night shift. But the reason for rushing is different from before.
Dad, it's already late. Your food is getting cold.
Sorry, I was late talking to Kusunori.
I'll bring some more food to the warehouse next time.
Oh, they'll love it! Thanks! Sarah has been, and will always be, my irreplaceable daughter. Until that time when there is someone I can truly entrust my daughter to, I will protect her. I secretly renewed my resolve to do so.